Several years ago, I had a most interesting conversation with a man, let me call him Bill, whom I met at a parish where I was helping out. We were chatting, and somehow I raised the topic of God's justice, how God alone would know how to dispense justice to human beings in the final judgment, but how often we human beings in the meantime would like to tell God who we think should be punished. Bill looked pensive for a moment, and then he said very quietly, "I believe that God's mercy will triumph over God's justice." Impressed with this insight, I asked him why he thought this, and he replied, "Let me tell you a story." There was a man, he said, let's call him Paul, who lived in an ordinary neighborhood, went to work each day, and raised a good and happy family. He also had a hobby. He loved woodworking, and he had turned his garage into a carpentry shop worthy of a showroom. One day, he came home from work, saw the lock on the garage door broken and the door ajar. He opened the door and was horrified to see his shop in a complete shambles. His wood supplies were scattered. Many of the projects he was working on were smashed. There was oil on his machines, his floor, his walls, and his wood. There was thousands of dollars worth of damage. A neighbor told him that he had seen the young lad from next door, an only child with no father at home, running from the garage just as Paul drove in. So Paul went next door, and the oil on the boy's hands were a clear indication of his guilt. Paul asked to speak to the boy's mother, with the boy in attendance. "Your boy is responsible for several $1,000s worth of damage to my carpentry shop and garage. I am obliged to report this to the police in order for the insurance to cover the damage. But I'd like to speak first with the boy in your presence." And then he said to the boy, "I know you did this, but I do not know why. However, why is not important. Who you are and what you want to be is important. So, I am going to make you an offer. I will not phone this into the police if you promise to pay back every cent for the damage you caused, and you have to do that by working with me and for me to put the carpentry shop back into the condition it was before your visit." Well, the boy muttered that he had no money and he did not know anything about fixing a shop. Paul said to him, "I understand that, but I will teach you. You will work for me, and I will pay you a fair wage, which you will return to me each week until the shop is fixed. I have 2 rules that you will have to abide by. First, when we agree on a time for you to be here, you will be here. If you are late or do not show up, I will dock your pay. And if you quit coming, I will phone the police. I have taken pictures of the mess. Meanwhile, when you are here, you will do what I ask you to do. The second rule is that you can ask me anything at any time about what you are doing or why you are doing it or what you want to learn, and I will answer you." Because of the amount of damage that the boy had caused, it took almost 1.5 years for him to work off the debt. Paul and the boy had the carpentry shop cleaned up and back in production within a month, but the debt took a lot longer to pay off. But then, from that point forward, Paul taught the boy everything he knew about fine carpentry. The boy grew up, eventually apprenticed as a carpenter after high school, and became one of the finest carpenters in the city. Now, at this point in the story, Bill looked at me and said, "I was that boy." Then he added, "Paul had every right to throw the book at me. All he had to do was phone the police, and I was old enough that I would have had to do some time as a juvenile delinquent. That would have been justice, and it would have been exactly what I deserved. However, Paul showed me mercy. Not a wishy-washy, oh, it doesn't matter mercy, but a mercy that saw the lonely, needy boy inside me who simply needed some guidance and direction, some encouragement and support. And that is what he gave to me. He never once asked why I had been so stupid. He just encouraged me, taught me, helped me to learn self-discipline, and in short, he changed me by caring about me. I can honestly say that he helped me to find out who I am and be proud of who I am. Then Bill surprised me with his final words, and that is why, he said, I have no difficulty believing in God's mercy. I have seen what mercy means in a good man, so how could it be any less for God? Mercy, he added, is first and foremost a profound gift of love, to which I add, Amen.